Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Capstone. How about that? First of all, congratulations. We're here. We're getting this far. That means you're, if not at the end, you're really, really close to the end. So congratulations. It's really cool. I'm happy to be able to be on this course with you and to be able to finish up your program together. It just is one of the great, pleasure, honor of this program is to be able to finish it up with you all. So I'm happy to be here with you. This course is one that I really enjoy teaching, partly because it just wraps everything up. I hope anyway, and so hopefully you'll find it a good experience. So the Capstone has the way the course is designed. So this is your intro video to the Capstone course in general, not specifically what we're doing in the first week, but the intro video. So the way the course is laid out in general is there are the first couple weeks we will focus. I've got the syllabus in front of me here, so I'm just going to look at it to make sure that I don't say anything wrong. But the first couple of weeks we focus on case studies. And so why are we doing that? Well, we feel programmatically that it's a good idea to, since our program focuses so heavily on chronic disease and preventing chronic disease, is to go through this for a comprehensive last time within the Capstone. First of all, to be able to complete a case. That's more of a comprehensive lifestyle medicine case. And then to do some self-evaluation on how that went for you. And so there are really two parts to that you'll see. And then more importantly is, I think one of the most important things we do in the Capstone is you actually get to develop your own case study. And this is a really important skill to be able to do at the end of this program, to think through all of the pieces that are required, not just to put together what would be like maybe a mock patient or client, but then also to work it up, as in not just developing the case, but you're going to develop the case and provide the answers as the case would track through. The template for that is coming in the first week. So the case that you will review and then see the answers for later will give you a template for how to do this. So you're not kind of doing this blindly on how this would go from a format standpoint. One of the things that we thought would help in this experience, and not that you need to review this book again, but ad nauseum, right? I mean, how many times have you had to use this book? But I feel like it provides a good background for you on the lifestyle medicine pieces in general, but then also the tools that are important to use relative to doing a case like this, because it really are tools that we can use and do use in our own lifestyle medicine program. So that's part of the reading for this, and it comes at the front end, is reviewing that book again and using it as you need to develop and complete the case, which is JS is our case study initials, and then coming in the second week is doing your kind of self-evaluation of how you did on JS, and reviewing the answer key, which I will provide to you. And then in the third week, you develop your own case study that also has the answer key with it. It's no small task. Those are really challenging to develop, depending on how deep you want to get into it, and there's some guidance for that on here. So that's a rather large assignment to develop your own case, and so that might be something to think about starting perhaps in week 2 or so, at least conceptually how this is going to go. So just a, so pro tip, maybe that's the best way to say it. When there's several cases, so I've done this several times to develop cases like this. And one of the things that's always helpful for me is to think of someone while I was developing the case. So perhaps it was a client, maybe it was a family member, or someone that I know, someone I worked with, someone that I knew something about in order to get started. And that was helpful. You don't, of course, divulge any of that, of who it is or any of the details like that, but it was helpful to kind of get started. So you can think about that as you move into that. So that's week 3 where you develop your own. After that, we switch gears. So there's really 3 major pieces to this course. So the first part is case studies, and the second part we're focusing on social determinants of health. And this is such a good place for us to be in the capstone because it ties together so many important concepts that we've talked about in, looking at the health of the people that we work with, the health of our community, in ways that are much broader than just looking at the individual needs of a person, but looking at it from a social side. So we're going to look at social determinants of health and that how that ties into integrative health and wellness. Really, really important overall objective for us to do by the time you graduate from the program is to be able to start putting those connections together. So we do that in weeks 4, 5, and 6. So really the middle piece of the course, 4, 5, and 6, is social determinants of health and the integrative health and wellness program tied together. We will watch several videos, a video series called Unnatural Causes. There are 7 episodes we'll watch through that. Really, it's really well done. It's a little bit dated, but the concepts are not. I mean, it's still the same issues we're dealing with. I'd love to say that the video is outdated because nothing applies anymore, but that unfortunately isn't the case. So we'll do that. 4, 5, and 6, and then 7 and 8 are really capstone-y type areas of focus. The 7 will be on vocation, where you will eventually in week 8 write a vocation paper. Really cool project. So the last 2, 7 and 8, are titled vocation in integrative health and wellness. The focus on 7 will largely be on professionalism. So you'll write a professionalism reflection paper. That's an important component of our program too, and being able to say, what does professionalism mean within health and wellness, mean within integrative health and wellness program? And then in week 8 for your final paper, you will then write or submit a paper that we call vocation paper. We've been doing this a number of years, that vocation paper, and it just is such a good experience, a good reflective experience for students, and to be able to write it out. So that will be really your final, if this is your final course, that'll be your final assignment. And we couldn't think of perhaps a better way to wrap up a capstone course than for you to write a reflection paper about what all this means for you and where you're headed. Threaded throughout, and we start this in, in week 4. So weeks 4 through 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. We will be reading Heroic Living by Chris Lowney. And it's also a very good book for us to kind of wrap up everything with. So much talks about vocation in there, but it's such a great perspective. It's so consistent with Creighton, the mission of the university, what hopefully the mission of the integrative health and wellness program as well. Chris Lowney was a Jesuit, and so it's very Ignatian in language, and so it's just a nice book for us to bring it all home with. So what we will do throughout is have some optional Zoom sessions so we can talk in a face-to-face way as well, and so I'll send out dates for those. But one of the things I really enjoy about this capstone is that we will have a discussion every week. So there'll be 8 discussions, but the discussions for all 8 weeks are videos, at least the initial part. So you'll record a video of yourself, and that will be your initial discussion post. Your reply posts are written because it just makes it, I think, a little more easy for us to reply and be fluid in that way. But your initial posts are videos, and it's going to be great for each of us to see each other in that way. And I just have so enjoyed that. It's one of the really great things I think about the capstone are all the video discussions. So assignments, there are several. If you saw them on here, we've got the first case study, the JS case study. Then you have a self-assessment and reflection paper about that case. Then you design your own case with answers. And then you have a social determinants of health paper, a professionalism paper, and then a vocation paper. And then of course the discussions. So there's a little bit of writing that goes in to this course, and we thought it would be better to break it out that way as opposed to making one, as some programs do, one giant project where there's one massive paper. This seemed to make better sense for our program if we broke it out into these sections. So that's the course in a nutshell. If you have questions, let me know. Of course, we'll be able to answer these as they come in. You can just send them to me individually, but we'll also set up a Zoom session at the front end sometime soon at the front, probably in week 2, to be able to answer any questions in that way as well. And of course, those are always optional if you want to join, and then I'll record them and send them out. But in the meantime, if you have questions, let me know. All right, so I'm looking forward to this last final hurrah. This is going to be fun. It's always a fun class as we kind of cruise into graduation with this. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to you soon.